From supercars that only a handful of people on the planet have driven to designs so wild you'll think they came straight out of a sci-fi movie, today we're covering 10 rare and obscure cars that you've probably never heard of. This is Ride or Drive. First up, we have the Isdera Commendatore 112i, and in my opinion this thing is absolutely gorgeous. First launched in 1993, this car isn't just rare, it's practically a unicorn. Named in honour of Enzo Ferrari, the 112i is the brainchild of Isdera, a German boutique manufacturer that poured their heart and soul into this car, and it shows. I can see the inspiration from a lot of other supercars in its design, and I absolutely love those gull-wing doors. The car itself is not just for looks. The Commendatore is powered by a Mercedes 6-litre V12 engine pumping out 408 horsepower. It's capable of hitting a top speed of 211 miles per hour. Isdera invested around $4 million into the car's development, only to go bankrupt shortly after. Sadly, only one car was ever completed, and at the time it would have cost you $4 million, which is around $9.4 million today, or £6.6 million in the UK, which frankly is insane. 6 years after its launch in 1999, the car was updated and renamed the Silver Arrow C112i by a Swiss businessman. It included the addition of conventional wing mirrors, and they replaced those awesome gold BBS alloys with a set of 5 spokes from Mercedes, which left it looking a lot less exciting. Fortunately, it was bought back by Isdera in 2016, who restored it back to its original glory, and it sold again in 2021 for €1.1 million. Now, while the car didn't achieve commercial success, the Commendatore 112i is a stunning piece of automotive history, and I'd love to see one in real life. In at number 2 is the Chiseta Moroder V16T, which was introduced in 1991. Now, does this thing look familiar to you? Almost like a Lamborghini from a parallel universe? Well, this thing almost was a Lambo. The Moroder was originally intended to be the Lamborghini Diablo, but thanks to some corporate intervention became something entirely different. The Moroder packs a 6-litre V16 engine, which was essentially 2 V8s bolted together, and it produced an impressive 540 horsepower. The Moroder could hit a top speed of 204 miles per hour and go from 0 to 60 in 4 seconds flat. Despite all that power, the Chiseta Moroder struggled to find buyers, with only 20 ever made. The hefty $600,000 price tag back in the early 90s certainly didn't help. Here's a fun fact: this car was partly backed by Giorgio Moroder, a legendary music producer, so it's kind of a blend of automotive and musical history, but perhaps it was just a little too ahead of its time. Today it's a rare gem for collectors who appreciate its quirky design and unique backstory. Yamaha is best known for their motorcycles and musical instruments, but back in the early 90s, they decided to try their hands at building a supercar. Enter my contender for number 3, the Yamaha Ox 9911, a car that looked like it came straight out of a sci-fi movie. In 1989, Yamaha began competing in Formula 1 as an engine supplier for Zaxpeed, and they wanted to use that experience to produce a price-no-object supercar based on actual F1 technology, and so the Ox 9911 was announced in 1992. The Ox 9911 was powered by a 3.5-litre V12 engine producing 400 horsepower. With a top speed of 217 miles per hour and a 0 to 60 time of just 3.2 seconds, this car had some serious performance credentials. But what really set it apart was its design: single seat, central driving position, much like a Formula 1 car. However, due to financial problems, Yamaha only built 3 of these. Now, if you had the cash back then, it would have cost you $800,000, which is equivalent to $1.9 million today, or £1.3 million. Good luck finding one now, though. The Ox 9911 remains a fascinating chapter in Yamaha's history, a car that combines their expertise in motorsports with their forward-thinking design ethos, and I actually love it. Switzerland may not be the first place that comes to mind when you think of supercars, but my choice for number 4, the Monteverdi Ha 450 SS, is a notable exception. Powered by a Chrysler 426 Hemi V8, this car could produce 450 horsepower and hit a top speed of 177 miles per hour. Fast, but what really makes it stand out is its rarity. Only 2 of these cars were ever made, and production plans for 49 units were scrapped after just 2 prototypes were completed. Monteverdi claims to have delivered 11 cars, but those numbers are disputed. Later in the 90s, 2 additional replicas were made, which now reside in the Swiss National Transport Museum. In the 1970s, the Ha 450 SS would have cost you around $27,000, which adjusted for inflation is about $120,000 today, or just shy of £84,000. The Monteverdi Ha 450 SS is one of those cars that faded into obscurity, overshadowed by the likes of Ferrari and Lamborghini, which remains a fascinating example of Swiss precision mixed with American muscle. So what do you think of this Swiss-American collaboration? Let me know down in the comments below, but personally I think it looks just as good as any other 70s supercar, and I'm surprised it wasn't a commercial success. In at number 5 we have a more modern choice from 2007, and still available today. The Tramontana R is a car that looks like it was inspired by a jet fighter. This Spanish supercar packs a Mercedes-AMG 5.5-litre V12 engine, pushing out 720 horsepower and a top speed of 202 miles per hour. It's definitely fast, but its design is what makes it stand out. The Tramontana R features tandem seating similar to that of a jet fighter, and the company only produces around 12 of these a year. The price? Around €500,000. It's a rare car for those who want something completely different. If you're enjoying this video so far, please do like, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon for more unusual car content. Also, if you'd like me to dig into one of the cars we featured in more detail, let me know down in the comments. Anyway, back to the list. Now, at number 6, let's talk about an American legend, the Saleen S7. This was America's answer to the European supercars of the early 2000s, and it packed a serious punch. Powered by a 7-litre twin-turbocharged V8, the S7 cranked out 750 horsepower and could reach a top speed of 248 miles per hour. But this car wasn't just fast, it looked the part too. Despite its power and presence, the Saleen S7 didn't quite break into the mainstream. Maybe it was the $400,000 price tag, which is equivalent to $776,000 today, or £540,000. Only 100 were ever made, but it remains a cult favourite, especially after its appearance in films like Bruce Almighty. The Saleen S7 is a true American supercar with the performance to back it up. If you're looking for a rare piece of American automotive history, this could be the car for you, assuming you can find one. In at number 7 is the Vector W8, another American-made supercar that drew heavy inspiration from fighter jets. This car was the brainchild of Gerald Wiegert, who had a vision for creating the ultimate supercar. With a twin-turbo 6-litre V8 engine producing 625 horsepower, the Vector W8 could hit a top speed of 242 miles per hour and go from 0 to 60 in just 4.2 seconds. The W8 had all the makings of a world beater, but it never really took off. Only 17 were ever built, and with a price tag of $448,000 back in the early 90s, which is the equivalent to $1.1 million today, or £747,000, it was simply too expensive for most people. Add in some reliability issues and financial troubles for the company and you've got a recipe for obscurity. Still, the Vector W8 remains a fascinating car, blending aerospace design with automotive engineering. If you ever come across one, consider yourself lucky. This is one rare bird that is almost as elusive as the stealth fighters that inspired it. In at number 8 is a car that certainly divides opinion, the Mitsuoka Orochi. Known for its polarizing design, the Orochi is one of Japan's quirkiest supercars, powered by a Toyota-sourced 3.3-litre V6. Now, the Orochi wasn't built for performance. Its top speed was around 150 miles per hour, and it takes 6.5 seconds to go from 0 to 60. What it lacks in speed, it makes up for in sheer uniqueness. Unveiled at the 2001 Tokyo Motor Show, the Orochi was based on the Honda NSX platform and was later produced in limited numbers with only 400 units made. Priced at 10 million yen, which was around $91,000 back then, the Orochi is now valued at $150,000 or £102,000 today. Whether you love it or hate it, the Orochi is unforgettable. It's one of those cars you'll either want to hide in your garage or show off at every car meet. There's no middle ground. Personally, I think this is one of the worst looking cars I've ever seen, and it's got mediocre performance for the kind of car it's trying to be. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Next, we're back here in the UK with the Bristol Fighter, in at number 9. This Grand Tourer is as British as they come, packing an American-made Chrysler 8-litre V10 engine, the same used in a Dodge Viper and producing around 525 horsepower. The Fighter could hit a top speed of 210 miles per hour and go from 0 to 60 in 4 seconds flat. Despite its impressive stats, Bristol Cars wasn't exactly a household name, even in the UK. The company compared to a niche market of wealthy traditional buyers and only 13 fighters ready to produce. The price back in the early 2000s was around £235,000, which is $507,000 or £412,000 today. If you're looking for something different, understated, but with a serious bite, the Bristol Fighter is it. And if you manage to find one, you'll be driving a piece of British automotive history. And finally, in at number 10 we have the Gumpert Apollo. Built by the former head of Audi Sport, Roland Gumpert, this German supercar is as hardcore as they come. Powered by a twin-turbo 4.2-litre V8 producing up to 789 horsepower, the Apollo could hit a top speed of 224 miles per hour and go from 0 to 60 in just 2.9 seconds. But the Apollo wasn't just about speed, it was designed to dominate the track, specifically the Nürburgring. And it succeeded, setting a record lap time in 2009. However, its rough styling and hardcore nature limited its appeal to track enthusiasts, and only around 40 were built. With a price tag of around €300,000 at the time, the Gumpert Apollo is for those who live for the track. If you're more about lap times and luxury, this car might be your dream come true, but don't expect it to be your daily driver. Which one of these cars would you pick if money and availability were no object? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe.